Hey guys, it's Ellen here and welcome to Floral Friday, and we are working on some beautiful fall floral cards. These are fantastic, easy to do, great to send to family and friends, especially this time of year. I give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to do this. Also, don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials are up, and check out my Patreon. The link is in the description box. And on my About page, I have exclusive videos and tutorials and traceable downloads over there. So let's get started. Okay, for this tutorial, we're going to go over some supplies. I have a piece of 100% cotton paper. It comes like this. It's like a 7x9 piece, whatever. You just fold it in half to make the card. They're really, really, really cheap for cotton paper. You can get like a pack of 25 of these sheets at Jerry's Artorama for like $8.29 or something like that. So we're just going to fold it in half. I've used some washi tape, kind of like midway down. Same thing here. A little space in between because we're going to paint above and below. I have my three colors here: Peacock Blue, Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Yellow Deep. I'll be using my Princeton Long Round number 8 brush. I've got my paper towel, my palette to hold the paint, and 3 water jars are up here. So we're just going to do some simple flowers and some simple leaves. You don't need to draw them out. You just need to do, you can follow what I'm doing and do your own thing too. When you put the washi tape down, I have a tutorial like this for Christmas cards, but we're doing fall ones. So you can paint the foliage and the flowers going up and then downward. And then we'll lift up the tape and then we'll throw in the little, a couple other flowers in there as well. They kind of overlap the section that's painted off, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So what I mean by that is, if you want to just take your pencil, a light pencil, just mark off an area here, like a half circle here, and maybe here, where you'd put like maybe a flower or so. Another one here. So we're not going to paint those areas, we're going to paint the rest of it. And we'll go back in and we'll fill it in with a flower. So let's start with some leaves first. I'm going to grab my yellow, make up some green. I got that Peacock Blue. And we want some really nice fall colors. So I'm going to have that magenta turn into like a kind of an olive green color. And then we can use some leaves. We can have a nice mustardy yellow. Add the magenta. Of course, it's going to make an orange. So it's a floral slash foliage kind of scenario. And then where the blue is, I'll put in, I'll make a brown. So I've got the Peacock Blue, some yellow, and some of that red. We get a nice brown, a little on the green side. Grab a little more of that red, a little more of that yellow. If it's still looking a little too green, just keep adding the red so it gets a little bit more muted. And the blue. Now you get a nice brown. And then for the red, like a burgundy type of red. I've got this bright magenta. We'll add a little yellow. And then we'll get it like a nice carmine type of red. We add a little blue. And we're getting into more of a burgundy. More blue. So it's purple, burgundy, add a little more magenta, and a touch of the yellow. If I add too much, it just changes the color like instantly. So I have to keep playing around with adding and subtracting. And just a touch of blue. Here we go. Have fun mixing the colors. That's getting used to mixing the colors. You can use colors straight from the tube too. You don't have to be confined to what we're mixing here. And the green, that's a nice green. I think I might make it like a sage type green too. So they get this bluish yellow, blue, a touch of the red, a little more blue, just a little more blue, touch of the red, touch of the yellow, Excuse me. Trying to make like this nice pretty sagey kind of green. There. So we have two-tone greens there. All right. So we can start by doing the lighter colors in the background, more of the orangey yellows. You can put like a leaf, just like this. You're taking your brush, curving it that way, curving it this way, and you've got the simple leaf right here. And to make the little ridges, you just take the tip of your brush and just push out like that. And you get the ridges. And if it's a little too wet, just mop up some of that paint. You can, at this point, go in and grab some of that red that you mixed and just kind of blend it in here. Just tap it in a little bit. And it has this nice look to it. You know, like the fall leaves definitely change colors, even on the leaf itself. I'm going in and mixing some more of this orange here. And adding it back in here. This leaf is fairly wet. I'm trying to get it up, lifting up the paint so it's more damp than wet. So we want to either balance it or put another leaf on the other side. I'm going to put a light green leaf this way. Again, going to curve with the paintbrush like this and then curve it like that. So actually that turned out to be brown because I had some of the orange on my brush, which I don't mind. And I can grab some of the sage green over here and do another leaf right here. I know we're going to start playing around with florals. So I'm going to put in this burgundy color. We're going to make like a simple, kind of like a poppy. So take your brush, out, circle like that. Again like that. And going on here and over here. See how I just whooshed, whooshed. It's kind of like a circle, but more of a regular shaped circle, and leaving that space empty in the middle. And try not to hit the orange leaf. I'm going to balance it out later with the one over here. So you can start by putting the outer petal here, and then we'll add the new one, the other ones when we're done, so you know where it's going to be. And again, you can grab this orange, put a leaf down in here. Just a simple leaf. That might be a little too bright, so I'll lift up some of the color. I can go in and flush in some of the reds. You know, have a little fun with that. Grab some of this green and put like a little stem down here. Really loose leaves coming off the stem. See? Just like that. If the colors are bleeding, that's fine. You just go back over it when it's done. I'm going to do another flower over in here. I'm going to put some of this magenta in with this orange and make it a blush color. So I'm constantly mixing the palette back and forth, if you noticed. It's kind of like how I work things. You might want to have a palette that has all of them ready to go, and you don't have to do that. But since mine's small and I'm trying to show you, I have to do that. So I'm going to put a kind of like a rose here. I'm just going to take the tip of the brush, curve like that. A little dot here, curve, and then curve. See, and then building this rose. Like a blush colored rose. Clean up our brush. And we'll grab this green paint again that we mixed and make a simple leaf next to that rose. Here, here. Might want to grab some of this brown that we mixed. Well, looks kind of on the green side. A little red, a little yellow. Whatever brown you have. And you can take your tip of your brush and pull down like this. See, and then put it over here on the end here. Out here again, even here. Yep, that bled, that's fine. That's kind of cool. You could make brown leaves or go in and grab this pretty burgundy color and make these little leaves coming off. Just, it's a little too much water, but take the tip of your brush, start from the stem outward, and just make these little teeny leaves coming off that stem. Same thing here. Just little teeny burgundy leaves. Now it bled in there and that's fine. I kind of like that look too. So you do it again over in here. It's really simple. And then because there's a flower here, I'm going to add a leaf over in here. Just a simple leaf like that. Might go back in and grab that brown, make another stem there. Again, when we lift this circle area for flowers, we could take that same blush color and make a flower, like a rose over in here as well. Just like the one we did down there. See, I'm just leaving these white spaces. Do a little curve. See how I just wiggle the paintbrush like that in the tip, and then you get that pretty flower. I'm still not going to take up the tape yet, and don't go in the middle of this tape because then you've ruined the whole point. Is that you want to keep this white space. So now we're going to go back in and add in some details of the leaves and whatnot. That particular leaf got a little muddled, so we're going to have to fix that a little bit. Grab the yellow here and the orange. Get that mustard yellow color. And go back over in here. Wanted that mustard yellow color. You can add some little leaves here, little teeny ones with the tip of your brush. We wanted that little mustardy yellow color. I'm going to add it in here, the poppy. Can add some of it in here by the rose too. And you can add little touches too, like just have a little spray come out here, wherever you feel like you want to put it, and add the brown, like a brown spray out here. I call them little sprays, like little twigs almost. And that green, we're going to get a little dark, less water. Get this darker green going here. Darker, mixing all these colors and get the darker value of green, and make the little lines of the veins, the leaves. Some of the mine haven't dried, so it bleeds a little bit, but that's okay. And then the brown, same thing. And then the orange. See, I'm mixing my colors a lot here. I'm going to put in the little veins of the leaf. The other ones haven't dried quite yet, so we'll work on the flowers here with the poppy. Go back in from that poppy, and I'm going to take that burgundy color, and I'm just going to take the tip of the brush and spray outward. See, I'm pushing that. Zoom in so you can see. Taking the tip, just pushing the paint outward like this, little lines. And I might take a little bit of that in the top of the edge and do the same thing inward. It's still a little bit wet, so it's kind of bleeding a little bit, but sometimes that creates a really nice look. If you don't want that, just wait till it dries. We're going to go back in again on that one and put the lines in here, this one over here. And if you want to make the blush rose a little darker in the middle, same thing with this one. And go back over these burgundy petals if they dried too light. This is still wet, so we're going to have to wait till that dries. So I'm going to dry this and come back so we can finish it off. Alright, so I dried that all off. So I can go back in with my orange here and put in the veins of that leaf. If I want to go and add like a darker tone in here on the bottom, I can do that. I can take my burgundy color now, the darker part more, less water. Just do the same thing, feather from the center outward, just with the tip of my brush. See those little lines? You could do a couple little straggly ones from the top going down. Not too many though. Just a little, just a few in the outer. And if you want a little darker here, you can just push some color around because it's underneath that leaf. I also might grab a little color and push it around over in here just to give it another dimension. And again, same thing here because it's going to be a burgundy flower in here. And if you want those burgundy stems to be darker again, go back in there because they dried and they got pretty late. So we go and add those, and again mixing up this darker yellowish brown to make that detail on those leaves. Just kind of filling out, and then we grab the brown itself again, go back in here and put in the details, and then the green also. Just filling in the details. You can get, you know, pretty detailed or not. From around the burgundy, I'm going to grab some of this Peacock Blue, that magenta, the yellow. Trying to get a nice deep dark brownish color. And I'll just tap that right on the edge there, and then in the center. Just like that. Okay, at this point we can do our reveal. We can lift up the tape. I'm adding on some little sprays over in here. We can lift up the tape. Voila. So in this center part we have the flowers that weren't finished. You could go in and finish them or not. So I think I'm going to finish this poppy one, just to have one that comes out over inside that area that we confined. Now see how I painted in here against the tape? It might not have been a good idea. I should have just left it plain and then gone in and painted it because it really got this hard edge line, but we can just manipulate that. So I'm going in and adding color. You don't want a bunch of flowers spilling over into the empty space that was here. Just a few flowers, maybe a couple of leaves. So I'm getting this darker color in here. Just kind of blending it. Gonna have to let that dry for a bit. And we're gonna keep the rest kind of like that. I might grab in some of this green that we had here. Grab some blue. I want more like a sagey color. Just put a couple of little leaves over in here. Still too wet, it's gonna blend, but that's okay. You just want a couple of things to peek through this whole area that we confined. If you wanted the other one up here to do the same thing, you can kind of pull that leaf out and have that one peek through. And that could be fun. Just a couple. The rest of it are going to be confined to that space. And then you can throw in a little leaf coming down also. Just gives it a different look of interest. Same thing on this one. We'll have to wait till that dries, and we'll go in. Gonna put the yellow in there. It's a little wet, but I'll dry this one and come back also. All right, so I dried that. The same thing like this. We'll go back in with our darker burgundy color. We'll feather in that deeper color from the center outward to the petals. Fill in over here. And this one too, kind of looks like. Just fill in that area. Like so. Fix the green a bit. And then we go back in, like I said, with the darker brown color. We'll just tap it in here. And put a little center in. Then you can write like a word with a fancy pen or not. You can write autumn, thank you, gather, welcome. You know, if it's a sympathy card, whatever you want to do for this card. So we're going to move on to another one. Unfold it and put it down like that. That's what we're going to do. See, I paint real time, folks. So there we go. That will hold it down. You just tape the edges like that. A couple ways to do it. And then we're just going to paint some flowers, just some loose flowers, just in the bottom area. So, you know, grab that blushy color again. Pretty blushy color. We'll just make some pretty brushy roses. Again, water that down. I take the tip of my brush. See, it's like this curve and a 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 curve, and leaving white spaces in between. And then you have this pretty simple rose. And then see how I zoom in. See, I just take the little tip of the brush and make this little curvy line on the outside, just a scalar line. Again, adding more interest. Just making this simple rose. Adding a couple of darker tones just on one side. You see, just those little wiggles. Isn't that pretty? Simple. The burgundy color. We could do another rose over in here. Same thing. I grab a little more darker paint here. I have to mix up more paint. Okay. Again, this is going to be darker, so same premise. Leaving this white spaces, curving it, maybe like a little squiggle like that, and curving it. And if you're hitting the bottom, that's perfectly fine. That's what we want to do. And then we're going to do a few other kind of flowers. So we can take that blush, we can make like almost like a dahlia type flower, or a chrysanthemum, I can't say, like a mum, chrysanthemum. And we just take the brush and we're going to just make these little lines like this. Just keep kind of coming in between, circling them. See, and then put little ones on the outside. Again, leaving the spaces in between, dabbing the little lines up top. Then ones that are going to curve downward. And that's your kind of chrysanthemum type flower. You know, just keep playing around with, you don't have to do chrysanthemum, you can do all kinds of flowers that you wanted to do. If we wanted more of like a sunflower, we could put that in, because remember, this is like a fall flower card, so sunflower, so you take the brush, making those little petals like that. Just like that. If you want to go back in and add a little bit of darker orange and kind of bleed the edges like that. And then we can add more petals in the background to make it look more like a true sunflower, because they have many layers of petals, and when that dries we can keep adding them. But this is kind of a loose one, right? And we're going to keep playing around with more flowers. So we have a couple of yellow ones, peachy, burgundy. We'll do another burgundy type flower, maybe do a closed rose, or just a simple like 4 or 5 petal flower. Take that burgundy color, just making like a circle with the point in the end. It's just simple little flowers like this. Be really pretty. A couple little ones next to it, right? Take that brown that we have, make like a spray here, and just add little delicate stems going to it. You can add some flowers to that. Make another one over here. At this point we might add some green, so we take the greenery that we had mixed, I might add a little more blue to that. And then we could make like almost like eucalyptus leaves. See, they're round, 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 and then connect them. How pretty is that, right? And make regular leaves. Just put a line up here. These little leaves coming here. As you get on the bottom, you want a little darker, but I'm gonna add a stem here. We're gonna have to add another flower or some kind of foliage in here, and the sunflower too. So we're gonna add some greenery here. Green. You want that a little bit darker though, so I'm gonna add some of the blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red. Get the darker green. Just I'm going to tap in. See, it's still wet. I'm going to tap in that dark green and put it again under here with the sunflower. And we're going to just keep filling in this area. So I might put another blushy flower over here. I have so much of this yellow, I'm going to have to lift it up. Add that magenta. So I get a blush color. Too much. Okay, so we're going to go and add another petal flower here. Just like a blush petal flower. See, just simple petal flower. We can add the same thing down in here. Coming out. Maybe put some of the same color on the little buds on this stem spray right here. Just adding that color in. And then we can go in and add some more greenery. I might add a little more green, yellow to this greenery, make it bright light green. Just to give it a variety. See, just fill that in. Fill in over here. Some greenery. And add the darker green too. We're just trying to fill it in. And the leaf over in here. And the leaf up in here. So kind of just filling in this whole bottom area with some foliage, some flowers. I'm going to add stems to that red one that I did. And I'm back over here with this, my brush is getting very dirty. This chrysanthemum that I did, I'm going to add some darker tones, kind of on the bottom, just to give it that depth that it needs. Same thing with the burgundy rose, right in the middle, some darker tones, kind of in the side here. And the blush rose we did in the beginning, add some more of those deeper blush tones, kind of in the center. I might clean up my brush, take some water and push that around so it's not so dark. Just a few accents of the deeper color will do. We'll go back to the sunflower. We can add some details. I'm just taking my brush and flushing out some darker color from the center outward for the sunflower. And you can go in the back area and add little leaves so it looks more like a sunflower. Again, in here, if you want to go in and add some more dark tones, just fill this area in. If you want to fill it in, you don't have to fill it in, but if you want to fill it in, just go fill that in with some foliage, some greenery, a little bit over here. And then of course now the sunflower. You could cheat and just use black, like I might do, and make a dark brown you know, just add that. I always like to add a little halo, as you can see there. It's kind of like my signature thing. Just a white area. If this is still wet, it's going to bleed into it, so just be careful. I'm going to mix up all these colors to make like a blacky brown. A little more concentrated so it won't bleed as much. The thicker the paint, the less water, the less it's going to bleed. And put some of those dark colors in here. Just kind of filling in. And here. I can go into the burgundy rose and add a little yellow. But pretty much, I kind of like the way that looks. I mean, if you want to add a little more sprays, you could do that, like coming from here. But we just want to concentrate all the foliage on the bottom of this card. And that's the second card. Voila. We'll wait till that dries. And then we'll move on to the third card. Again, it's folded in half. This is where you do one like right in the middle, right? You can do it in the middle this way if you want it this way, or this way. You know, depending on how you want to do it. I'm going to do it this way. So again, I'm going to open up the card. And we're just going to do like, I don't want this to bleed into my card, so I'm flipping this around. We're just going to do a small vignette of like flowers with some sprays. Now we worked on these flowers a bazillion times now. So I'll do like the blushy color one. Grab some of that color. See, I get this very loose. Again with that rose. So a little line here, line, line, line. See, that's how I make it. One way I make roses, leaving the white space. I do that little squiggle. You can clean off your brush, put some water, and then just bleed some of that paint so it's just soft. See how it just blends outward? It's a soft, pretty flower. And then we'll do another one. Or we can do like a poppy again. So maybe we do a different flower than what we had before. Take that burgundy and make that poppy. So it's that weird circle again here and then here. So we're just concentrating all the foliage in the middle. I think I put the paper on the backwards. I think I painted the paper backwards. So it might not bleed as nice as the other side, but that's okay. And then we'll do another flower. It could be like a chrysanthemum, a dahlia. Again, I'm going to do more in the yellowish tone. Or it could be a mini sunflower. That could be a little daisy, like a little daisy. Let's do a little daisy. See? Just these little petals. It's like, you know, yellow daisy, yellow-orange daisy. I see, I don't have a plan. People ask me about the plan. Sometimes I have a plan, and sometimes I don't. I'm going to add another one over here. Maybe to balance it out a little bit with the yellow. Just as simple petals. And then we'll start building, you know, out our greenage and foliage. So we can make that, grab some of that blue, making this green more like sage color. Eucalyptus kind of stem. Again, we could have it coming out here. I kind of liked that one. Just lifting up this paint, I have too much paint on my brush. It's like a circle connecting to that, circle connecting, circle connecting. Look how simple that is to make. I'm going to do another one going downward. Circle connecting. It's very pretty already, right? Very simple and delicate. And then we can add in some browns. So I'm going to mix up some browns. Just a little reddish brown, blue. There we go. Brown color. Add a brown leaf. Because remember, this is supposed to be fall. Can add another brown leaf down here. And we could add some green leaves too. Green. At this point, I'll add another spray. Maybe make it a little darker. And the yellow. And we can have that burgundy color off the spray. Another spray here. You're going to be playing around with all the sprays and the foliage. We're just going to keep it simple, right in the middle there. Going to add a little yellow to that. See, my yellow is a little too wet. I need it more concentrated. It started to bleed into the flower. Less water. So, we have that burgundy again. Can add a little burgundy, almost like berries, to that spray, and this one up here. We're building, and building, and building, and building. Gonna grab that green, make some pretty skinny leaves up here. We could add another little teeny weeny flower in here, like a blush, or the burgundy one. I might do a burgundy one. One of those little petal flowers that you saw before. Do another one out here. You know, and I obviously feel like there's something missing in here. I might grab the brown again, or an orange. Playing around with that. I think the brown. Put in a leaf here. Like I said, I don't have a plan all the time, and I like to work that way. I like to see what I can come up with. So that's pretty dark, and I can go back into this brown and put in some of that color into this. It's blending nicely. This one's fairly dry, so I could go in and add the veins. And it's bleeding a little bit in the bottom, so I'm gonna have to wait for that one, but so I'll just move the paint around. So we're gonna let this one dry and come back and finish this one off. Okay, so we let most of that dry. We can go back in and start to build all the flowers and the leaves. So I'm gonna make that burgundy color nice and dark. Building up that color. You want it like really dark on the edge, and then get some water and it's lighter down the bottom here, so we can start to build that flower just like we did in the other ones. Just doing those simple sprays coming from the center outward. You get really loose in this one because it's a bigger type of flower, and get darker on these ones. But it really lightened up once it dried, so just go right back over it. I want that deep color in there. The blush, you can go in and add some darker tones like I did before. Little wiggles, yeah, like those little wiggle lines. It just adds so much interest. And then the center of the, like kind of a sunflower daisy black. Sometimes I like to use black. I know somebody was calling me out on that the other day. I'm like, well, you know, you can spend an hour mixing it up, or you can just grab it and use it. Then here I'm doing the darker brown, just the little veins in the leaves, very simple. And I'll grab the same thing with the green, just the little veins. That one bled into that one's fine. And we have our pretty little eucalyptus. Go back and make another eucalyptus color. It's a little more blue. Almost like an aqua blue. The peacock lends itself nicely to it. So I've got that color. I'm going to water it down. Is this one kind of like lost the tone a little bit? So I'll have to go back over that one. If you want to do another one, just a teeny weeny one coming out here, I might do another little teeny one. Just like I feel like there was something that needed to go on that side. And then make it a little darker. Go over that one again. You keep playing around with it and add the yellow to this. And then I'm going to add the darker little dots to the poppy in here in the center. See these little dots around here? So it looks like a poppy. Again, go back in and grab some of that darker burgundy. Just do some little highlights. But that's pretty much it for that one. Look at that. I think it's really beautiful. So we have this one. We have this one. I might write a word in this one. And this one. You can see them all three. So you can write thank you. You know, I would practice, you know, before you with a pencil write in the word. You know, and you could take a calligraphy pen. I had a calligraphy pen somewhere. A calligraphy brush pen. Is that it? No, that's not it. Guys, I'm in real time with you. Oh, here it is. So these calligraphy markers are great. See? Thank you. Right? Or you can write autumn, whatever you want on this one, or just leave it plain, you know. I might leave it plain. I don't know what I would want to write on. What would I want to write on it? Autumn, gather. Oh, well, that's a thank you card. Could be sympathy, could be birthday, could be get well, depending on what's going on. So, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this. It's kind of a long tutorial, but 3 floral fall cards. Look how pretty they look. Like a little, nice little collection. You know, and this paper is super cheap on Jerry's Artorama, the B paper. So that's $8 for 25. You just, if you're bored, you're making up like 3 cards for like less than $1, right? And then you send it out to your friends and family. They really appreciate it. And then they could, if you didn't write thank you, if you just left it plain, they could like take it out and frame it. So, hey, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I have a new tutorials there weekly, exclusive ones that you can't find on YouTube, a little more in depth, and I give you a traceable download to go with it. Thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials are up. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.